Hello everyone!
Привет, Skyfox. Секундочку. Так.
Here I am. Sorry guys, the stream is out of schedule because I wanted to play Stellar Bridge with a gamepad, but I spent I think 1.5 hour trying to make it work. But I just feel stupid because I wasn't able to make it actually. I think I'm even feeling a bit depressed now because of that. Привет, Last Train. Честно говоря, настроение не очень. Мне такое ощущение, что все валится из рук и ничего не получается. Надеюсь, у вас настроение получше. Вот. И вообще, я не хотела бы, конечно, чтобы вы тут... Зачем я вообще это сказала? Забудьте. Все хорошо. Hello, Бимчик. Скорее, depressed стример overdose. Should I start to take drugs now to feel more positive? It's not the same. I probably won't be much talkative today. Sorry. Where should I go? I don't remember. Probably here. I want to change her outfit. I think we already tried all of this. I don't remember this one. Wait. I didn't save it. Nice. Earrings? I don't like glasses actually. I wonder when I would be able to find new outfits for my companions. Okay. Probably a trap with a lot of monsters. Oh. 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 Whew. Okay. Wait, what? Why? Why did I die? Ah. Okay. I thought I would have to fight again. Ew. Whoa, wait. Okay. Supply box. What? Where did it come from? Passcode. As you say. I want to go back and check other rooms. It looks like a boss fight. Okay, a lot of flesh. I guess smell here is pretty bad. Okay, where should I go? What? What is happening? Okay. I just need to avoid all of that. Another supply box. was close to lose it. Oh. Please, let's climb the ladder. Ah. Thank you. Eventually. New upgrades. Okay, let's craft it. Bunny girl. Drone. I think to have more magazine is better. Oh, nice S. What's next? I don't see any ladders. Did I miss something? Oh, what a sound. I don't like it. Maybe I should... No, wait. Oh, little small robot. I don't know. Nothing changes. But really, what I have to do? Wait. There's nothing more. I see it now, but okay, let's try it again. Or maybe I'm wrong. No. I was right. Oh, here it is. Some ugly boss. Full of flesh. Heart of the infection. Oh! Wait. It was easy. Even though I'm not a good shooter. What that even was? Bimchik, why did you say it only now? I'm feeling even more depressed now. Ow. So now it should be okay. I hate myself. Please kill me. I think now you should understand why I want to pick Ash support, Miss Fortuna support, Miss Fortuna jungle. Because I'm a streamer failure. Actually, I was good. Don't you think that? Wait, I didn't want to go here. Okay. Can I go back, please? Thank you. Can I talk to her? Oh, what's that? Ah, they're my guys.
You want to take the test again?
No, please. What do you want to say to me?
You did great, Eve. Shall we go back to Zion?
Wait, please. And you?
Tell me if you need anything.
I need you.
How may I assist you?
Oh, better weapon. Okay, let's go back to Zion.
You did great, Eve. Let's get on board.
Presence chamber, okay.
Stay away from those that disparage the Sentinels. Those types of
Okay.
guys can't be trusted.
Okay, thank you. Missions. Bimsik, how many streams do you watch at one time, usually? What does that should mean? Okay.
Oh, as expected. My eyes did not deceive me. Excellent work, Adam. I'll leave this one to you as well.
Let's go to the hyperdrive.
Secondary drive energy injection. Initiating activation.
Whoa! It looks brighter now.
Yes. What we're doing is really worth it.
Do you know the other things you usually not paying attention to?
Hey, move out of the way. I'm busy. Angel? Sorry I didn't recognize you.
Okay, you got me. Why are you so mean?
Once again, thank you.
Now it's your turn.
Wait. He will give you an answer.
There's a sewage treatment facility and a train graveyard in the old city center.
I am detecting the frequencies of an alpha nativa coming from Matrix 11.
Matrix 11.
I will forward the map data to the tetrapod.
It will guide you as you attempt to travel to the alpha nativa's location.
Thanks for helping us. It means a lot.
None of this can compare to all that you have done for Zion, I assure you. I wish you luck.
I think the music has changed. Oh no.
the town seems different.
More people. Nice.
I see more people, more signs.
I told you, what we've accomplished has been well worth it.
Hello,
I don't
dev
think
chick.
we'll be catching any more sideways glances.
That's great to hear. To be honest, I was getting a bit anxious.
I'm heading over to the tetrapod. Why don't you
I'm
take
in
some
my
time to
room.
enjoy the
What
new
do you
scene?
mean? Let's check what's new. Do we have the maybe some new shops or whatever. Some Korean song. Oh, a lot of new quests. Okay, let's go then. Yes, today English streaming. I don't remember them.
It's amazing that you were able to make it back safely from Altus Lavoir.
Everything was a mess before you came, Angel.
There's nothing. I'm going to the right place. What? 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 What is that? What the hell? Is it some meme? Meme? Or how to name it? Some joke? Inside joke? Okay.
It's
I can
you,
talk to
Angel.
him.
Now why would an angel visit the
Hello.
last goal?
Привет, Кэссиди. Да.
Here for a song?
Hello, Кэссиди.
perhaps?
I could ask you the same. I thought you'd be busy collecting scraps or trading like the other scavengers.
Yeah. That's what I'd be doing. If it wasn't for my partner screwing up. He entered the forbidden area, trying to find a jackpot for the sake of Scion and the store. Or so he says. That place is the Devil's Lair. That's why there's lost treasure in it.
Devil's Lair?
Yes.
A lot
the
of
Devil's
treasure.
Lair. An underground chamber
Sounds
echoing with
interesting.
the roars of Natibas. I even got near the place to find my partner. But I turned back like a coward. After that, I couldn't possibly continue life as a scavenger.
I can't stand idly by if Natibas are involved. I'll help.
What? Why? There's nothing
What
in
do
it
you
for
say? There's a lot of
but I won't
treasure.
look a gift horse in the mouth. I just want to know if Tommy is alive.
Tommy.
All I need you to do is find him.
Fair enough. Send me the location.
So, did he mean that we are gonna save his partner, I mean, gay friend? Well, as you can hear, Cassidy, I'm actually a terrible English speaker. Oh.
Enya, what is it?
Eve.
What's wrong? You're not singing like usual.
Well, the thing is, it's Sue. He hasn't come here recently. I've also heard that he's seeing someone else. Do you think he will abandon me?
I don't think Sue would do a thing like that. Please, don't worry. This might just be a misunderstanding. Where exactly did you hear this?
I heard it from Beau, one of Sue's colleagues. Eve, I'm sorry to bother you with this, but I can't leave here because of my legs. Can you ask around for me and maybe find out what's going on?
Okay, just hang on. There's no reason to be so anxious.
Thank you very much.
We have to find some info about her boyfriend. I get it, Cassidy.
What brings an angel here?
I heard that you've been saying some strange things about Sue.
What? Oh, right. You probably heard that from Enya, didn't you? But I guess that's not that important. I haven't seen Sue at all for the past few days.
Oh, I hope he's alive at least.
Sue's abandoned his post. He's not the type to do something like that.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I wonder what happened to him.
I'll have to investigate these in the right order. Do you know who Sue was meeting up with without Enya's knowledge?
What is with that thing?
I couldn't say for certain.
Did you see it?
They were far away.
Ah, all right. This complicates things.
Like, what is this shit? Okay. Wait. What the hell? Okay. What do you have to do with that? I don't understand. Okay. I don't care. Unknown.
This way, Angel.
What?
Keep quiet. Just follow me.
Looks suspicious.
What is it? What's this about?
I told you to keep quiet and follow me.
Oh, is there another quest?
Angel!
The looters took my sister. Please save my younger sister.
Where are the looters now?
There, down the alley.
Wait right here.
It sounds suspicious too. Down the alley. Like here? Oh. Yes, that was a trap. Блин, а может оладушек?
Angel. Everyone's happy to call you the Angel just because you came from the colony. Aren't we humans just like you? Well, why should we have to dig through garbage, cower, and hide from nativos just to survive? Why? But, didn't you know? How could you not? All of you are actual angels. There are many treasures, but none more precious than the materials inside your bodies. And with a body as state-of-the-art as yours, need I say more? I've got to say, it'll be nice to hear a thank you for a change.
I didn't like what they say to me. What the hell?
Eve, are you all right?
I was
Focus
saved.
on me. Can you do that?
My man.
These are black market merchants.
He came to
I didn't
save
think
me.
they'd approach airborne squad members.
This can't be.
I've never seen this before. It looks like nativas weren't all humans had to worry about. Let's get you back to the safe house and do some maintenance.
Seems like I'm alright. Фух. Кэссиди, не говори, точнее, не думай таких ужасных вещей. Она просто похожа на мем из интернета.
Eve, you're here. Look over here.
Oh, is it a radio?
This here is an alpha signal meter.
What?
This device uses the subtle resonance from the alpha core to pinpoint its location. It can't reach a super long distance, but you'll find it useful once you head over to the location Orkul told you about.
Wow, good work. You're gonna put me out of a job.
I thought you were already out of a job.
You little brat.
Thank you for helping me out all the time, Lily.
And just one more. Can you turn around for me? Here. Done.
What have you done, Lily?
I customized the power distribution of the body cell. Doesn't your body feel lighter?
Oh,
Something does feel
some
different.
upgrades.
If you try jumping, I bet you'll notice the difference.
Now I would... you mean now I would have higher jumps? Wow. Double jump! Yeah! Wow!
ready to go?
No, I'm not ready. Sorry, guy.
Matrix 11 is an underground facility.
Sorry, man.
The search perimeter is extensive, so make sure you're prepared.
Don't leave.
Let me know when you're ready. I'll be here.
I want to check all the quests in the town. Oh, something new here. What's that?
Hey, you, Angel. Fancy learning a little bit about history?
History?
Let's go.
Me! I'm very interested!
My goodness. Now that's what I call a surprise. It's wonderful to hear that you're interested. The citizens here are too exhausted or jaded to truly appreciate the wonders of history.
Well, I'm not exactly.
I'm especially interested in organic civilizations, like the organic humans that lived before us. Unfortunately for us, not many records remain intact.
Refusing to listen to others, I see.
Don't you find it odd? Even if history was neglected, it's strange there is zero mention of organic humans. It's almost as if it's forbidden knowledge. See? Isn't this exciting?
What if natives are actually mutated humans?
We're always learning. Listen, I came up with an idea while wondering where to get records of
I think it's possible.
organic humans. I heard that you visited the Hall of Records over in 8-7. Is that true? And you managed to retrieve a hypercell?
That may be true, but...
Yes! Then please, grant my wish. I'd like you to get information on organic humans from the information terminal at the Hall of Records. I have total faith in you. Please, please.
But the Hall of Records is already...
Eve! You should be able to connect to the information terminal via the door switch by the entrance.
Lily, would you like to come along?
What can I say? I'm curious. Of course I'd like to learn more about the civilization that came before us.
Okay. I'll try to look for it the next time I'm in 8-7.
I knew it! You and I have something in common after all. All right then, I'll be right here, patiently awaiting your return. Go, run along.
Yeah, I'm going.
Okay. Some interesting, it seems like some interesting lore mission awaits us. Drop. Oh.
Angel?
Some little girl.
Stop. I'm not an angel. I'm... a child.
Angel? The nice man over there told me to bring this over to you.
What's this?
Dunno, but I accomplished my mission. Bye-bye. I got to see the angel up close.
Okay.
That's suspicious. Sending a random child instead of coming to me directly. What is this program?
Directly. Request letter. Please forgive me for concealing my identity like this. I heard it's impossible to go to the lower part of Ada 7 and Petola's Plaza because of the flooding. This is a recovery program to control the broken sewer device. Use this to get the water out of the plaza. And look into Warehouse 77. If you head there, you will see why I am asking this of you. Oh, it's nice.
Telos Plaza.
I was here before.
Is this related to that flooded shopping mall? That's a pretty vague request. Seems like a trap.
Could be. We'll know when we get there.
What to do?
I totally would like to check it. What's next? It's close, I think. Oh. No? Yes.
This noise. Renovating, perhaps?
This noise. Where it was? Here? No? Okay.
Can't just barge in like this. The store is closed.
As you say.
Oh, Angel. What are you doing here?
I heard some noise. Is everything all right?
Oh, I didn't know that. Sorry to bother you, Angel. As you can see, this is a general store. I trade all kinds of items. But I can't do business, not anymore.
Why not?
Well, I had a treasure in this store. I thought of it as my guardian angel. It's a gilt bronze standing Buddha. An old, valuable treasure. But my daughter Arin stole it. That
Oh,
item
he has a
protects
daughter?
This store. She knows how valuable it is. I bet she wanted to sell it at the market.
I see. Tell me what I can do to help.
Thank you, Angel. If you terrify the scavengers at the market, they'll tell you where it is.
Terrify them?
Yes, Angel. Please, bring back my gilt bronze standing Buddha. Please, I beg you.
Fine. I'll see what I can do.
It's a strange request. It seems like he has a really bad relationship with his daughter.
A bullet, all right?
New quests? Oh, you're pretty good. Should I give you a harder puzzle to solve? Is the puzzle? Wait. The diary, the revenge. No way, they seriously peeked into someone's private diary? I will never forgive these bastards for reading my secret thoughts. Stupid, boorish troglodytes. Find whoever did it and kill them. Burn their memory stick to cinders. Okay?
Kill me? I don't know what to say.
Refused. Yes, I can change her outfits. We're publishing the information on the Legion secret stash extracted from the ADAS 7 map data. Find and investigate bar 99 on Silent Street. The passcode of the secret stash is 1228. Okay.
I think I know where.
Scavengers, have you heard? An angel visiting Zion has defeated the Alpha Nightibus Gigas of Ada 7. Now that the Alpha Nightibus is gone, we can access the drop pod. Of course, other Nightibus might interrupt, however, scavengers are no strangers to that risk. Whoever gets there first can claim the drop pod advanced parts. Alright, get going.
The drop pod that Lily was trapped in. I should hurry.
Okay.
I have to return to the input unit.
Hello, Castoria. What that should mean? 37, 21. Let's check it. Thinking. I really don't like this kind of puzzles. I'm stupid to that things. Okay, 3721 928. Why? 77, 44. Maybe it's much more easy than I'm thinking about it. Вот и я думаю, что за тест на IQ, как это решить? Должен быть какой-то паттерн, но я не понимаю. Бимчик, у тебя есть идеи? Я знаю, что ты умный. Да, Бимчик, надо подумать. А то что-то ты мало думаешь, вот. Не надо гуглить, только без гугла, пожалуйста. Не одобряю гугл. Привет, мэр. Ну вот, во-первых, почему между этими цифрами стоит решетка? Что она означает? Это типа, там должна быть какая-то цифра, или так просто разделили эти два числа, или там должно быть какое-то действие между ними? Квадраты? Должно быть, это какая-то подсказка. А, я поняла, о чем ты говоришь. А, но не до конца, подожди. Ладно, я поняла из-за этой подсказки. Yes. Окей. But actually, I think that I would spend a lot more time because of that advice. I mean, or how to name it. Wait. Here it is. Yep. Have to go back.
This puzzle's more complicated than the last one.
For sure.
But
complete. The puzzle was interesting and the prize was a nice bonus. I hope there is more. Wife medicine. Yesterday my wife developed a fever and it's hard for her to even breathe. Okay. I think she caught the sun disease from all the contaminated sand from the great desert accumulating in her body. It's an awful disease that hardens the organs if you wait too long to get treatment. I need medicine to cure my wife. There's a high chance that there's some sand disease medicine in Matrix 11 Survivor Sector. I don't have much, but I will give you what I have if you can bring me the medicine. Contaminated. Thank you, Binchik. Contaminated. Source of the nightmare. Roxanne told me that sometimes angels come to fulfill requests. I hope an angel comes to help me. I've been having nightmares every night since the operation in Matrix 11. Whenever I close my eyes, I can see the skulls crushing Jerome's head and tearing Natasha to pieces. The only way to get rid of a nightmare is to get rid of the source. Dear Angel, can you deal with the skulls roaming around Matrix 11? I think 10 should be enough to end my nightmares. Okay.
Should I help? I can feel the client's desperation.
Okay. Can I buy something?
Roxanne.
Angel.
I didn't cut.
New data? Information Oasis. In the mid-21st century, Earth was in a dire situation in which climate change was irreversible due to implementing only carbon neutrality. Humanity had to handle the disaster it created by building a system based on terraforming to improve the global environment. Underground transportation and circulation facilities, later called the Matrix, became a part of it. The Matrix helped combat climate change, but when the colony extinction occurred, it became a death trap. The deep underground facilities were no match for the solid ground. Seconds after the colony module fell to the ground, the Matrix collapsed and earthquake swallowed the entire world. But the world is full of irony. It is thanks to the old Matrix that an oasis was created in the great desert of ash, dust, and ceramic shards. Water flows from the sunken underground facilities and spews water up to the surface ground. You will know what kind of place it is and what you will find there if you go and check it out yourself. Согласна, Кэссиди. Hypertube. Or Hypertube, I think it's Hypertube. Mega corporations wanted to maintain their monopolies efficiently in their respective economies. The key to this was logistics. Energy and raw materials, manufacturing and assembling, production and consumption. All these processes spread across the Earth and orbit, needed to be combined into one and managed as a whole. It was then that a large-scale global fulfillment system was created. On Earth, hypertubes played a major role. Hypertubes are just as the name suggests, giant tubes that transport cargo at high speeds. Magnetic levitation tracks were placed inside the inner walls, allowing cargo platforms to move in all directions. It must have been a magnificent sight to see tens of thousands of cargo platforms zipping by like bullets. Yes. Like other relics of the past, the hypertubes are now in ruins. However, it is said that some sections are still operational. Rumor has it the entrance is in the west of the Great Desert. You could use it to quickly move to a location of your choice by following the tracks, but it also means you will have to take the risk of flying face first into a pile of scrap metal. Or new design pattern. Of course, we will buy it. No more bitcoins.
Oh, honey. Are you leaving?
That's a weird thing to say.
I guess jokes aren't really your forte.
I think she's flirting with us. She's so cool. The last one missions, I guess. Or maybe no? Let's investigate them. Experience. Open. Hint. Wait. Oh. Wait. No. Phew. Wait, please, don't jump on it. Errand journal. I've been hiding every day near the exile passage so I can keep an eye on Oracle schemes. Shockingly, I saw them capture live Naitibas and bring them back to Zion in the dead of night or before sunrise. That crazy old man is capturing the Naitibas to terrorize the citizens. It's too bad that they didn't leave any evidence. Any proof would have been scrubbed clean already. I can't prove what I saw, but above all, Rael, the guard keeping watch, spotted me. I managed to get away without getting captured, but I'm sure Oracle beasts will come for me. I'm finished. I can't bear to see the evil deeds of Oracle and his guards. And if I'm caught, my sister will be left all alone. What will happen to her? As a free citizen, I made up my mind to protect my freedom first. An opportunity to fix my mistake will arise. Maybe something better will happen if this record falls into the right hands. Praise the Zion Freedom Liberation Alliance. Why this box was jumping? What the hell? Are you okay, man?
My treasure.
Treasure, my treasure. Ah.
Can I ask you something?
Who are you? Are you here for my treasures? I won't hand my treasures over to anybody. Not ever.
Hey, calm down. It's really nothing.
Okay, it seems we have to talk to everyone about Sue whereabouts. Sorry.
Zion is a boring place. Sometimes I feel like...
Hey, I'm investigating the whereabouts of a sentinel named Sue. I'd like you to tell me if you know anything.
What? Where did that come from? I don't even know who that person is.
Okay.
What is all this? What do you want from me?
Relax. You have nothing to worry about.
People here are so nervous.
Don't take this the wrong way. It's
Where is your daughter?
left for a place far away. She lives only in my memories.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Not enough materials. Still. Okay.
We are able to overcome this difficult time.
Okay.
Why don't you give up? Do you really think you can complete the mission by yourself?
Angel, you're not allowed to use the Exile's Passage without permission.
Okay, okay.
Even if it's you, I can't give you special treatment.
The kid in Adam's safe house. That That's all.
I already checked here. Oh.
Forgive me.
A lot of bears. Another man who lost his child. Are you here already? What do you want, man? And what should I do to you? Ah, okay. Mysterious creature sticker. A sticker that can be used as a logo in photo mode. Okay, thank you for a sticker. Maybe you know something?
Everyone is drunk with
No.
I forgot that angels bring both hope and
They don't know anything. Maybe you?
Angel, pleased to see you. What brings you to my humble storefront?
I was just taking a look around the city. Bye.
It's a vanilla game. I don't have any mods. Oh, supply box. Probably with a passcode. Right. Of course. Whom we can also ask about Sue. Oh, that's suspicious man. Okay. I already forgot about him.
Just when I thought things were improving, an angel, I still don't have anything to sell you. Please, go away.
Yes, yes, yes. Of course. He's gone there. Okay. Nothing here. Maybe she knows something.
Hello, Angel. Business has been much better lately, thanks to you. If my sister was here to help, we would be much better stocked.
I understand. I have someone who is almost like a sister to me. Your sister sounds like a smart businesswoman.
My sister's name is Kara. Kara. She's strong and decisive. So I believe she's out there. Somewhere. She has to be.
Uh-huh. We can ask her too. Oh,
Kaya,
it seems like
I
she
have something I'd
knows
like to ask
something.
you.
Yes, Angel? What is it?
I'm looking for a sentinel named Sue. I think you might have spoken with him.
How did you know that?
Finally. Sue has disappeared. I'd appreciate it if you would assist me with the investigation.
My goodness. What's going on? Well, the Sentinel was looking for a lower body exospine system. For
He was looking for legs for his girlfriend.
Of course, We don't have anything that rare available here. I told him that he'd have a lot of trouble finding one unless he looked someplace where a lot of supplies were dumped during the war. Like the area near the solar tower in the wasteland.
Did he say what he was planning on doing with the exospine?
He just said someone really needed it. He didn't say anything more than that. Oh, Angel, I really hope nothing bad has happened to him.
I'm trying to find out. Anyway, thank you. You've been a big help. Oh no. I can already tell what Sue's up to.
He's trying to find a way for Enya to walk.
I have
Yes.
a really bad feeling about this.
I hope
Where do
he's
you wanna
alive.
go? Are you going to go find him?
I guess I'll have to start by going to the solar tower in the wasteland that Kaya mentioned. Kaya? Kaya?
Oh, Angel! I hope she comes back. I have felt as though she's closer to me lately. It's a big...
Okay. Erin whereabouts?
Kaya, can I ask you something?
Sure.
Have you met a girl named Arin?
Arin? I guess you've heard the story then.
What story?
About her and her father, Lyle. They were really close. They cared for each other, though they were financially struggling. But ever since Lyle got that standing Buddha, he changed. He considers it his guardian angel, and even believes that it embodies Mother's fear. Over time, his obsession grew stronger than ever. I guess that's why Arin decided to get rid of it for good. She asked me if there was a place to hide something, where it would never be found.
Seems like this is something personal.
So, where is she?
Scrap Plains. There's a building with a dome roof. People call it the Villa. It was built by strange drones. Nobody goes there. Perfect place to hide something.
Okay, thanks. Kaya?
Maybe something new in the shop. Outfits are more important than girls, right? Right. So we're not gonna to spend here our bitcoins.
Goodbye, Angel. Thank you again for shopping at Sister's Junk.
Well, thank you
Well,
for your
well.
help. Farewell, Kaya.
Farewell, Kaya. Ah, yes. I forgot again about that green man. Where did he go? Here, yes.
So, you brought me all the way here. What for?
Hey, relax. I'm just the messenger. Take this.
What? This is a terminal.
What for?
This device is locked with a quantum passcode. What do you expect me to do with it?
You're asking the wrong person, Angel. I was just told to give you that terminal in secret.
Okay.
Good luck then.
Hey!
There's nothing more I can tell you.
If you say so. Let's go to check the last question mark then. Where it was here? Yep.
Hello there. How are you? May Mother's Sphere's blessings be with you always.
Is he some kind of a teacher?
Meeting you like this now, it's Mother's doing. She's answered my prayers. If you
Or
came
is
all the way
he
to the
a
ground for the
priest?
sake of Mother's Sphere, well, I'm sure you'll at least listen to my request.
A favor?
I have a brother, a good man, and as devout as I am, if not more. Unfortunately for him, he wasn't able to make it out of Eidos 7 before it was submerged.
Eidos 7.
Now, it would be foolish of me to think he managed to survive. However, I would at least like to have his Book of Faith. It was
Book of
precious to him.
Faith.
To us, that book is even more valuable than our lives.
Hmm?
My brother was a librarian at the library in Eidos 7. Knowing him, he stayed at that library until the very end to protect it. Please, try to retrieve the Book of Faith from the library. A gold circle is engraved on the cover, so it shouldn't be too difficult to find.
All right.
Well, Cassidy, I'm gonna answer you as a girl. More important is the one girl with the many outfits. Cause it's like I'm having a doll. I can dress up a lot. Yes. Hmm? Yes. Of course, there would be some nice stuff in the trash. Okay, let's change our outfit. I think I already used this one and this too. Holiday Rabbit! It's too simple actually. Okay, let's try it. I don't care. Hmm? Yes, Cassidy. Wow. Why it looks so like to I even forgot this word. I think it's explosive. No, wait. Yes, it's kind of explosive. Like you totally can see here everything. Oh my. Well, yeah. I'm not sure if I would be able to you know, to fight properly with monsters. I really like to look at her. Yes, exposing. Right. Actually, I would really like to one day to have a bunny girl outfit on my model. Or I mean, I think it would be more right to say for my model, right? Okay, what about our quests? Where should we go? Data bank, memory sticks. Oh. IT bus. Characters. Oh, Raven. She looks so beautiful. Kaya, Enya, Scarlet, Volt. Tachi. It's our squad leader who died. Roxana, Roxanочка. Barry, Sue, Adam, Lily, Rael, Quill, Orcal, Man, Kasim, Dick. Oh. Used, unused wastelands. It seems like I didn't found a chest I can open with a passcode. Used. Documents, those. Manual. Okay, missions. It's Zion, Wasteland, and okay. What? Wait. I have to use fast travel to do it. Yes. I was afraid I wasn't able to fast travel because I didn't get that function. Let's upgrade our skills. What do I want to upgrade? Okay, probably this one. I like this attack the most, actually.
Ah, Eve, did you bring me the can?
Oh,
because
I bring you a lot of cans.
Preparations already.
Preparations?
Voila! I picked up some stuff I found lying around, and I put together a cabinet.
I see it.
It would be good to store your cans here.
Storage and display.
Storage for cans. Wow.
Right? I'm telling you, Lily Artemis always gets the job done.
Oh, I even have they even give me some rewards for my collection. Nice. Collection rewards. So if I would collect everything, they would give me this outfit that looks like some outfit you would actually use for night games, you know? Okay.
Oh, you're here.
I've been waiting for this.
Are you ready to leave?
Let's travel to another. Yes. I need Ada 7, I think. There was some quests. Thank you. I don't have a map? Well... where should I go then? Here probably. I'm not sure. Missions? Silent Street. Okay, let's go to Silent Street. Yes, we're we're already here. Well, I think it would be really easy for me to fight the monsters on this location. Because I'm really strong right now. Yep. Nothing interesting. Okay. Let's go further. Oh. Some locations I didn't investigate before. Legionnaire 451st resolution. Only deaths remain in the city. Humans who lost all hope have locked themselves up and are waiting for death to take them. I think some areas of the orbital elevator are still functional. Let's use that to head out into space. Yes. Oh, we can rest on this bent. Oh, wait. It's bent? Oh, bench. Oh, branch. Wait. Yes, it's bench. Yes, I was right. Oh, some little monsters. Some little peace dukes. Let's kill this one. Yep, thank you. Actually, I didn't check all the suits I have. I don't want to check it right now because I want them to be a surprise for me. Oh yes, I can dive here. Let's try. Maybe there's something interesting. Oh yes. There's some hole with a supply box. Oops. Nothing more. Okay, let's kill these little ones. It's really funny to watch for this warrior bunny to fight. Yes, hole in the deep. You're absolutely right. There's nothing more, guess. Yep. Oof. I was close to a fall. Oop. Oop. I think I can jump here too. Yes. Another supply box.
There's another supply box over here.
Yes. Thank you.
I'm sure there are more supply boxes. It'll help us survive. So, look carefully.
Come here, boys. Nothing. Ah, it looks like some secret location actually. Oh, with coins, nice. I think it's all, right? I guess so. Let's check everything I didn't check before. There's nothing, I think. Oops. No, there's nothing too. Okay. Can I? Yes, I can. I really skipped a lot of interesting places when I first visited this location. Bar 99, there was some quest, I believe. Yes! I really hated this man on my first walkthrough. Goodbye. They're dying so fast now. For real. Oh, I can open it now. Привет, я не живу в Москве, поэтому меня там не увидеть на самом деле. На стримах Анилибри обычно бывают только люди, которые живут в Москве. Привет, Гео. Что ж, на начало стрима у меня было плохое настроение. Вот, но сейчас стало получше. А у тебя как? Bar Blue Oyster, yes. This was a thing back then in St. Petersburg, you know? Actually, I feel very sorry that I wasn't able to visit that place when it still was functioning. Come here, monsters. Блин, а мог бы на работу голый в трусах прийти, знаешь? Вообще, я считаю, нужно становиться лидером этого движения, так сказать, показывать всем пример. Понимаю, Кэссиди, было бы проще, если бы мой английский был бы чуть лучше. Это главная героиня этой игры, которая сменила костюмчик. Ой, no, please don't fall down. Ау.
This is the library.
Ah, this is the library. Okay, I get it.
Francis asked me to find the Book of Faith.
Ой, ой, ой. Yep.
Is this it? A cover with a gold circle engraved on it. The Book of Faith. I used to read that all the time. Let's see.
The words of the devout Felix. Therefore we will do Mother Sphere's binding on earth as it is in heaven. It's all a lie. We all been tricked. It wasn't the monsters killing us, but Mother's fear. Whoever is reading this, listen up. I, Felix, a once devout believer, do so declare. Mother's fear is a false god. A living calamity trying to kill us.
Did you draw over the contents of the Book of Faith?
It's a lot easier to keep faith when you're not staring death in the face.
Нет, я далеко не все костюмы собрала, тут их очень много на самом деле. Мне их еще собирать. Да, мне тоже очень нравится этот хвостик на ее костюме. Нет, Гева, тут так не получится. Oh, sorry, I didn't want to disturb you, man. Really. Ой! Вау! Вау! Дай. Да, мэр, ты прав. Было немножко. Да, я видела. Я, короче, смотрела прохождение этой игры у другого стримера. Ну, такая хорошая, годная игра. Сама история интересная, но там понятно, что на самом деле твои выборы не так сильно влияют, как хотелось бы на всю историю. А я, короче, смотрела того чувака, который отказался, короче, в принципе, выбирать девушку. Он остался со всеми друзьями, вот. Так было даже лучше, на мой вкус. Женщины не нужны. Только настоящая мужская дружба. Thank you for follow. Wait. Дай. Еп. Sorry guys, I'm just too strong for all of you. Да, Гева, женщины не нужны. Нужны только голые люди. Жизни голых людей важны. What that was for? Looks like I can... No, I can't. Like, it was some secret route, but no. Okay. Wait! Wow! I hate you, man. I really hate you, man. Pepsi Light. Now I want to drink Pepsi Light. Why there's a lot of Russian phrases? I'm still thinking about it. Okay, come here, man. Дай! Yep. There's nothing, right? Right. Right. There is nothing, right. I can jump here, I see, but how? Aha. Found the way. Wait. I would come to you, boys. Yep, it's here. What? Okay. Seems like I can... Okay. Wait, But I... Okay. Never mind. Да, Мэри, так и есть. You're so true. Okay, another missions probably. It's Wastelands, 807 Hall, flooded commercial sector, ADAS, Villa in Wasteland. Ага. Dive. As I remember, there weren't anything interesting. Let's go back. Oops. Oh, There's something interesting too. I missed a lot of location actually. I missed a lot of locations, yes. That's what I wanted to say. Whoa. Okay. Legionnaire 300 Second Sorrow. Why is the rescue team so late? We've lost connection to comms. I promised I wouldn't eat this garbage food again. We have to last until the rescue team comes. The body needs fuel to survive. Another dead man who wasn't saved. With coins. With coins means more costumes, more outfits. How to get back? Wait. Ah, I see. Ага. Advanced polymer material. Oops. It's so difficult without a map, actually. I want to have a map in this game. Okay. Another missed location. А тут нет наряда с кроличьими ушками. Нет такой прически. Yes, here you, man. What is it? Some memo. Ensure through the security procedures at the line statue entrance. Line statue entrance. Team Athena leader. What? I knew it. Можно. Why I can't take? Yes. Experience. Supply box. Okay, let's change our costumes then. Oh, another bunny. Cyber magician. Actually, I like it. Wait, I didn't change it. Yeah. I think this hair is bad because we're unable to see her run properly. Okay. Let's just go back to this one. Yes. Much better. Отель Романс. Рома, Рома, Роман, Роман. Да. Гора с попой, статуя с попой. Тоже обратила внимание. Ну, кстати говоря, тут, в принципе, много интересных статуй. Вон, мужские статуи, понятно с чем. Вот вы думали, что тут будут показывать только женские прелести в этой игре, а нет. Они все равно вас заставят посмотреть на мужские достоинства. Кстати, да, сразу песня пришла на ум. Это история о том, как я выживал в зомби-апокалипсисе. Выживал среди зомбаков. Привет, Рамрин. Ты уже в Москве? I want to find a camp to use fast travel. Oh, here it is. But there no fast travel. Ah! Pepsi Light. Sorry. О, тогда тебе удачного полета, конечно же, чтобы все прошло хорошо и без каких-либо задержек. Hello, Рейси! Что ты имеешь в виду, Гева? Yes, I should go back. Here, yes. I think. No fast travel. Ah. Oh, supply boxes. Yep. Some money. Space, yes. Another stuff I missed. Louis' testimony. Lucas, look up at the sky. There's something falling. I wonder what that is. I didn't hear the orbital explosion warnings go off. Polymers. No, please, just don't fall, okay? My girl. My little bunny girl. No! I hate you. Where I am? Ah. Oh, I'm here. I think I understand where I am. Любовь и мир. Phew. I didn't die. Wait. I still don't understand why they even give us the chance to use it if it's impossible to jump for the next I don't know what is it, for another bar. Thank you for a follow. Yes, it's the first playthroughs. Hello. Oh no! Yep. Money. Did you like this game so much? Is it because of the story? Where should I go next? I don't remember it. Oh, I think... No, okay. Ah! I get you. It's because how good and strong our main character, right? She has a really good personality, you know? Oops. Oops. Up. No! Stupid box. Oh. Wait, what? Whew. Why did I even do that if I had a shortcut? Well, okay. Нет, Гева, это просто стрим на английском. И я как бы пытаюсь свести его на английском, но с ребятами, которые пишут на русском, конечно же, я буду отвечать им на русском. I feel like I'm stuck. I didn't play this game a lot, as I think, but so far I like it a lot too. The story, monsters, combat system, and actually our girl outfits. Yeah. No, it's the wrong direction. Филиан классно, но такая супер позитивная и мега энергичная. Pepsi Light. I hope that monsters are unable to swim. Yes, yes. Wait, Thank you. Ascend. If you say so. No, wait. Do you mean I will fight some swimming monsters? Okay. Okay, of course, more outfits better. No. Wait, no. I think I want to equip it now. Why? Why it looks so sexy? Like she's gonna to go to work to some hostess bar. Wait, is yes. Oh no! It's now. Now I think that she looks like a character from Cyberpunk. Yes. Well, I was trying hard to get all of them. Actually, it's my main goal. It's my main goal to to get a lot of her outfits. Not enough skill points, but now I can fast travel. I'm here. Wait, missions. Commercial sector. I hope it's the right place. What do you mean by upgraded versions? Like, are they more exposing or what? No, no, please don't.
What's going on with Warehouse 77? And why send a kid to deliver the message? Anyway, I have to find the control device.
Less material, more beauty. Should I go to the right or to the left? Hotel, plaza. Отпор. Well. Checkpoint. Okay. I think I need it now. Oh. No, I didn't just start it. I came back for missions, yes. Oblivion. It's the one where I have to search for some treasures in a flooded plaza. Left, okay. Oops. Oh. She looks dangerous. Oops. No! Don't hurt me. Oh. Well, it looks for me as a monster girl. Didn't that monster actually has a booba? Yes. Found it. Я сама удивилась Касторе.
Whoa, the program is really working. Oh, even I wasn't able to crack it. This is so embarrassing.
It's almost like the person who made this program is responsible.
I just have to ask. So now, would you like to investigate on Monster Booba? Why did that thing revive? Come here, boys. Yep. No, wait. As I remember, the one natives were searching for has a booba. That one that killed our squad leader. Nothing more? Wait. Thank you. Ah! we have to find a cell. Nice mermaid. I always wondered why does she kill them exactly this way? Like she throws them in their butts or asses? What the hell? Oh, here you go. Okay. Here our passcode. Another dead person. Oh, it can. Is it difficult to find all cans to get the reward costume? Yes, no. Ah. There's so many places we can go to. Where I am? What? Ah, I was there. I remember. Mm-hmm. No, I wasn't. Yes, there was a rope. Mm-hmm. 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 Actually, I thought I would be able to jump on that bars. Oh, supply box. Death from a bat attack. Yes, I have it. But actually, I had. The actual game. I am not a Nikki enjoyer. How to say it? Did you ever see the gameplay? I don't know that game, Racy.
Nice. Let's go
Well, then, if you wait. If you like to watch over women butt shaking, you should try it then. She's here, calling us traitors. We just could not live in the city. Well, they died. Memory of despair. Why are we stigmatized as traitors? She is chasing after us. She's chasing after us. I don't know how long we will last here. A melancholic cry. We merely freed ourselves from the imprisonment of the cradle. We are not traitors. Someone has to know this. Cut, hurt, help. Book of Faith and Wisdom. Mother Sphere is wise, and she will give us salvation in the crisis of impending doom. Therefore, we will do Mother Sphere binding on earth as it is in heaven. We will return to the colony. The angel's coming will mark the beginning of salvation. We will return to the colony. We will be compensated for our lost memories. We will be given new memories. Mother Sphere is not to be doubted. Where is the last one? How do I get here? Okay, maybe... No. No. They're not people, right? Then why do they even need toilet? Voice of objection. We will live in our little shrine, keeping our faith close to our hearts. We object to the city's horrid rules. All I can do is to pray to our mother that this peace will last forever.
They didn't just drown. All those people. They were slaughtered.
The surface of this cut. It looks to me like it was made with a polymer plasma cutter.
This is the work of a master. It's so refined.
So, is this the work of an angel?
No. This isn't a weapon that we use. This seems to be the work of an elite soldier from Earth.
I don't understand. A blade like this should be raised against enemies, not allies.
I think I know one thing, though. This plaza was flooded on purpose. They did it to cover up a crime.
I don't know. We don't have enough information. What do we do now?
Well, at least we can retrieve the memory sticks from their remains. That is, if they aren't severely
So
damaged.
they made them suffocate from water, right? No. The last one mission is here. Okay, I understand. No. They killed them and then flooded the place. Yes. At school, I learned English. As you can hear. We also learned the French for a bit, but I probably remember only something like... no, I don't remember anything. Wait, what? Ah, yes, it was like, comment ça va? It's probably the only one phrase that I remember. But I still think that French is a very beautiful language. Yes, I know there were a lot of schools with German language oriented, yes. But I think for now the most schools have only English language actually. At least in my country. Well, it's Russia. I live in the western part of the country, so weather is how to say it. Sometimes it's raining, sometimes it's just good, as it can be in the spring. Where is the camp? It should be somewhere close. I actually don't like when it's too hot. The ideal weather for me is the late spring. Yes. I know that I'm close, but why can't I find it? Am I stupid? Wait. No. It's not the one I was searching for. Maybe I should go back. Cheating? What do you mean? Yes, I think it's there, right? I hope so, please. Be there. Yes, 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 I was right. Whew! I don't use any guides, really. Actually, I was thinking to look where I can find all the robots for Nikki quest. Because not all of them are shown in the map. Probably was crater? Yes. Yep. I didn't. Wait, no! Ow, ow. Yeah. Another outfit. Midsummer Alice. No. Midsummer Red Hood. What is with that namings? This one actually looks really cool. Like a motor racer, I think. Well, stop. Where it was? It was there? Yes? No? No? Yes?
Earrings?
Yes, it
They
was
belong
there.
to Lily. Everything useful has been stripped already.
I can return to the Zen now. Finally! Well, it wouldn't be good if I would finish the game and didn't try all outfits.
Looks like there's a lot of activity. All right, let's take a look at some of the stories of the citizens.
Only the shell of the drop pod remains. There is nothing useful left, so you can just delete this request. I will make good use of the items from the secret stash. Let me know if you have any other info on them. Can I buy the last outfit?
Of course. What brings such a...
I'd appreciate...
Yeah.
It's been fun, Angel.
I bought everything from her shop.
Bye-bye.
All right. Stay safe, Roxanne.
Actually, if there was something like relationship system, I mean, if you was able to have a girlfriend or boyfriend, I would totally pick her. She's so cool. And she is flirt with us a lot. I don't care, she's so cool. Her eyes are more than enough. Wait. Okay. On the second place is our assistant, Lily. She's so adorable. I think I missed it. What? Maybe here? Yes.
It's the girl from before.
Hey, Angel! The same man asked me to give you a present. Oh, he also said to tell you thanks a bunch.
Wait. Can you tell me what he looked like? Where did he go?
Huh? I don't know. He was tall. He had a mask, so I couldn't see his face. I don't have any idea where he went. Can I go now?
Okay.
Who was it? Who led us to the corpses? Did they want us to retrieve the bodies?
Any guesses we can make right now are just guesses. Nothing more. I will discover the truth. I swear.
Yes. We must.
And the last one was yep.
Oh, you made it back, and unharmed, it seems. It's a blessing from Mother. Did you come across the book my brother left?
Yes, here it is.
Oh, thank you. I haven't seen this in a while. Let's see. Huh? What is this?
It was like this when I found it.
But my brother was so faithful. The fact that he would do such a thing, I can't imagine it. But he couldn't. He wouldn't have done something like this. I wonder what happened. Well, I'll have to investigate. Also, please, I would be very grateful if you could not tell anyone else about this.
Yes. I don't have anyone I could tell anyway.
Mother Sphere. Mother, why must you continuously test my faith?
What if he is actual culprit? Because he asked us to find a book about faith, about fate. About fate, about wisdom and faith. Yes, and in that place where were a lot of dead people, we also found the similar. We also found the similar book. Yes. Who knows? I know that I know that Oracle is a bad person and that they found out that there were some wars before between androids and actual people, and then natives attacked their world. I think that's all. С возвращением, Ева. Yes, I think that he's a bad person. Okay, yeah, there some different sides. Some believe in Mother Sphere. Some believe. Some people believe in an oracle, and some people don't believe in anyone. Okay, would like to see them. I think I will I think I'll finish for now. You mean these special Android books about about love between androids? Yes, I did. Yes. I like them a lot. Would be happy to find. Would be happy to find someone similar to read. I think it was in Adas. Wasn't able to find it. Next stream would be wait. Next stream for Stellar Blade would be next Monday. Tomorrow I want to finish Sigrika quest in Wuthering Waves. Yep. Wuthering Waves. Or you know it by the name Gathering Wives? Yes. Ah. Well, that's a beautiful game that has a lot of beautiful girls with the beautiful forms and shapes too. And it also has a nice combat system. So, actually, how to say it? Yes, I think you should try it for once at least. Да, Гева, он спрашивает про Вову, но говорю про Вову я. Завтра будет Вова. Yes, thank you for coming for my for my stream. Thank you for all of your support. It was really funny. Yes, tomorrow would be Wuthering Waves. Yo. I hope I would be able to fix my gamepad because I tired of playing by a keyboard in this game. So wish you a good night or a good day or a good morning. Yes. Bye bye.